I have some small points. I believe that Malta, with all its defects, has been an exemplary member since we joined. Unfortunately, we have been tarred with the brush of our neighbours, and our neighbours haven't been so good. So when I look at what we've been doing in the last years, I believe that we haven't been given that much credit to what we've done. We were good when the financial crisis was around. When the Libya crisis, which potentially had to hit us even worse than the economic crisis, we didn't go back to Europe to cry. We just made sure that we went through it as we should have. And we never actually went back to Europe crying that we have problems that need to be solved. Unfortunately, what has been happening is that we have had to fend off a lot of efforts at trying to reduce our economic success, which is very unfortunate. So we spoke about the consolidated tax base. MBB has created a detailed impact study, and unfortunately I do not agree with your party's stance. Locally, the stance is completely different. Consolidated tax base does not pay us in Malta. There was an impact study, and we looked at allocation. So the idea there is to consolidate the tax into one area, and then there are rules which would regulate the taxing or the distribution of the tax that was collected. When we looked at it a couple of years ago, the allocation that was being recommended was definitely not in the interest of Malta. And we had to fend off a number of things. Financial transaction tax we spoke about. Online gaming, we have to all the time fend off. So my only qualm about Europe is that I always hope to find an inspiration as to how this economy is going to grow. But unfortunately, what we get most of the time is not inspiration to grow, but internal bickering as to how the European cake should actually be split. And when one looks at the economic growth that Europe has actually registered over the last years, it's not something to write home about. Thankfully, our economic growth locally has been better. So really and truly, I dream to see, and I believe this election campaign, not locally but internationally, has been slightly. I've seen the debates. I was hopefully looking for an Obama of sorts in Europe, but I didn't find in any one of the candidates. Unfortunately, that is a personal opinion. I feel that Europe lacks strong leadership. I think Europe lacks visionary leadership, and hopefully we will get our act together very soon, because that is what our businesses require. We don't need a strengthening of the bureaucracy, because this is what seems to happen with Europe. Government is growing and growing and growing. I'm not referring to local government alone. I'm referring to government in its totality. Businesses do not need government to grow, but businesses need government to be leaner and to facilitate economic growth. Unfortunately, that is not happening. However, it augurs well to see on the panel today two former chamber members who I'm sure will do their very utmost, if elected, to do their very utmost to facilitate the communication that we are talking about. We've spoken about whether it's national interest or European interest that should be fueling our main interests. I think we shouldn't be fooled. I think the European agenda is being set by the bigger nations, and they put at the forefront their national agenda. So we have to really be watchful to make sure that their national agenda is also in our interest. And that is, I'm sure, a huge piece of work for all our MEPs with all their limited resources. So in terms of economic growth, I'm disappointed. I hope that the economy grows even more in the next 5 years. I have to say that locally, at least from my personal perspective, social consciousness and environmental consciousness has grown. Has it grown enough? No, it hasn't grown enough. However, if there's one thing which Europe has contributed to Malta, that is definitely an area which has grown in Malta, and hopefully it will continue to grow, because as the panel said, there's no business if there wouldn't be any business in the long term if businesses themselves aren't environmentally and socially conscious. And this is not just terms. Whoever is in business, as I am, know how important this is. We might not speak that much about it, but actually when one looks at how much time we dedicate to taking care of our employees, taking care of the environment that we work in, there is a consciousness. We need to strengthen it, because if we do not strengthen it, we won't have a market to serve. We also spoke about other things like access to finance. Yes, that is very close to our heart at MBB. We've done a number of impact studies there. It is a key area where we need to work and focus on in the coming years, and any assistance and support from the MEPs would be of great support there. We are not happy at MBB at how much of the European funds are being allocated to Europe, to private enterprise, and we've said so very clearly in one of our impact studies. We need to allocate more, both locally, as well as we need to become even more, we need to become smarter in tapping directly into EU funds. And I believe that, as Peter said, helping each other, MEPs, MBB, MUSEC, and all the constituted bodies helping each other on this one would surely serve the economy well. I won't delve into many points that I have. All things come to an end. This is my last event as president of MBB. It has been an interesting journey. Thank you very much for everyone involved, the board, the executives. I thank you all. Mario Spiteri is taking over. I'm sure he'll be much better than I am. So thank you and good luck. Thank you very much. Thanks.